Okay, so today one of the things I am going to, whoop, there's my shadow. Let me get out of the way here. One of the things I'm going to do today is I'm trying to plant up all of these jugs. There's some hidden over there too. Let's count and see how many I got. All right, so there's about 29 to 30 here. I just counted real fast, but the first two things I'm going to plant, I picked them out, are thyme. Okay, so I've got this thyme, German thyme, and then I've also got this thyme, common English thyme. So thyme, it can spread and be a little bit obnoxious, so if you don't want it to get out of control, you put it in a pot. So that's what I'm going to do with these two thymes. I've got a really large pot behind my greenhouse, and then I have also, where did it go? Just filled up this grow pot, which I'm going to put the thyme in, and then I was thinking of where I wanted to put it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down in the bottom of my garden with the rest of the row of grow pots. I've got tons of grow pots down there. I'm about to fill them with peppers and different things, so that's where this is going to go. Okay, so here's my greenhouse, and behind it I have some buckets and a grow pot, and so I just clumped the thyme right there. Okay, right here I have taken it out of the jug, but these are, you can see all the lovely roots at the bottom. These are screaming to be separated, so I'm going to just take chunks. I'm actually going to put a clump right here in this hole. This will be the one that I label and save seeds from, Rose Snapdragon, but then I'm also going to disperse these in a few other places. This will be the first year I've grown this one, so I'm not quite sure what it looks like, but once I grow it for the first year, I usually know. Like this one's Cherry Twist. I planted this last year, saved seeds from it. I remember what it is. But yeah, that's what I'm doing, just taking chunks, and I'm probably going to take some way up there and put it in some different areas in my yard. And this one here, I had mixed colored foxglove that did amazing with germination. So I just took a chunk of it off, and then I put it in more chunks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more chunks, and just planted it up. And this is where I'll label it. And so then I'll know what these are, and then I'm going to take these and spread them around in other places. So I've got a clump of the foxglove in this pot in the center, and in this pot as well. And then I split up some more of the snapdragons and put them in this grow pot. I'm just putting random things everywhere just to see what will kind of grow okay. In this, I've got some sort of squash. I've got ground cherry, basil, thyme. That's where I put one of the thymes. I've got more of these grow pots, so I'm probably going to do, and that's where I ended up putting the pot with the other thyme. So this is probably, oh wait, no, is that tarragon? What was that? Lavender. I put lavender here. And then I also, in this area, I'm mulching it, so I figured before I finish mulching I should plant what I want to plant. But I put some of the snapdragons here, and then some of the hollyhocks here. Just rip them in clumps too. Alright, in this one I've got some, it's called Dara Ami. I really don't know how this grows, so I'm just going to put this in a row right here beside my chicken coop, and we'll see what happens with it. Alright, so there's that. Alright, this jug was Bales of Ireland, and so I just, again, ripped it into 3 clumps and planted 1, 2, 3. And right here is some other stuff. Oop, I about stepped on that one. That I had planted before. And I actually don't know what it is because I planted it with the tag somewhere else. But I've planted that from a jug. I planted... These were from a jug. I only had 2 come up, but it was East Indian lemongrass. And I've planted these beforehand. This was pink surprise calendula and Ganzenia. So there's one of those and another one of those. And then also polar bear zinnia. I had planted those previously. But yeah, this is all just a bunch of weeds that needs cleaned up before I mulch. But I'll probably end up planting another clump of something right here because, as you can see, this is all going to be tore up. I'm going around and kind of relining because this has kind of grown up over my mulch in the past few years. But right there is where I stopped yesterday as I was working. But that's all going to be pulled up, so I have all this space here that I could plant some fun things in. Okay, these 3 jugs I'm going to disperse around. This is my swing set. But I've already started to mulch. I edged this yesterday and started to mulch, but I do want some more stuff planted here. So I'm going to kind of move aside the mulch, dig a hole and plant stuff, and then push the mulch back. I did mulch this side, so it'll be a little bit easier. I'll just have to mulch around the stuff once I get planted. So I have here, and then I have on this side, and also have this big swath of stuff I could plant. A bunch of stuff here, a variety of things, so I'm probably going to do that too. So this jug here, E-Spirit Mix Pestamen, was actually easy to separate into individual flowers. I had 5. There was a couple of little sprouts. Well, there was more than 5, but they were kind of individually clumped together, so I just kind of tore apart the clumps. So there's those. And then I just clumped the foxglove. And then I'm also going to plant these 4 o'clocks in the back here. Okay, this jug is my garden lupine dwarf mix, so they're not going to get too big. But as you can see, there's 4 plants, so I can actually, well, 5 if you can include this tiny one, which I will. So I can split these pretty easily, and I've kind of moved aside the mulch because I'm in that spot that I just showed you that I started mulching. And the corners of each of these are honeyberry bushes, and they're going to get to be pretty big. I probably will put something kind of around the perimeter, but not too close. And there's another honeyberry bush, but I'm going to put some calendula on that side. There it is, what I want to plant there. And these are all volunteer strawberries. And I just leave these for like the chipmunks and the squirrels and rabbits and things like that. They just keep spreading. You can make strawberry plants a ground cover if you want, and I've just been letting these go, and as I need strawberry plants for my green stalks over there, as they get older I'm going to pull them out and then replace them with these, the runners and such. You can see there was like just a couple here last year and they've kind of ran, and I don't mind it, it's fine. But this is what I came over here for. This is, oh no, it's Snow Princess calendula. So the Snow Princess calendula was planted in one of these. It's like, it was a pretzel jug, like the party mix jugs or whatever, but I have noticed that it's easier to get stuff out if you cut them and tape them like you do any other like milk jug or whatnot, juice jug. So that's what I've done. I've untaped it, and now I'm going to separate these out into, I think 3, maybe 4 clumps. So there it is. I divided 3 clumps, and then I have another clump of it that I'm actually going to put in one of the grow pot sections to see how calendula grows in those. Okay, lupine is planted. Calendula is planted. And then I just moved the mulch back, as you can see, once I got them planted. I don't know if you've noticed I've been doing this by hand. I can't find my shovel. But I do have rocky soil, so I did get this shovel just in case I needed to dig some. Alright, in these 3 jugs I have some like medicinal herbs and such. I've got St. John's wort, I've got Italian oregano, and what is this one? I already forgot. Sweet marjoram. So these kinds of things kind of spread and take over, I think. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to be putting these in sections of these grow pots to see how they do. If I want to move them, I can to a different location, just take a chunk of them later on in the season if they're not doing, you know, hot in these pots. But a lot of times these do pretty well in the pots. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add more mulch. I put the mulch down underneath just to kind of level this area because it was kind of slanted. And then I'll mulch around the bottom like a couple of inches up, and that'll help retain moisture in these pots for me. But I'm really close by the hose. It's right there on the wall. So I should be able to keep these pots pretty watered. I'm not the best at keeping things watered, but I figured since the hose is right there, this would be a good location for these pots. So for these, I am literally just taking them out of the jug, scooting aside soil in the shape, in like the square type shape, and then I'm just going to set that down whole. I'm not even going to split it because this will kind of spread around the pot, hopefully. Not covered out, you know. Planting things that are new to me are, you know, it's a work in progress. I'm learning every day how things grow, and so we're just going to see how all this stuff does, and I'll tell you if it's a bad idea to plant in a section pot like this or if it worked out. Okay, all 3 are planted, and I will come in and mulch around the top of this. It'll continue to spread as the mulch breaks down, but it'll actually help retain the moisture and help these grow better. So there's the marjoram and the St. John's wort. But as you can see, this is filled with a mixture of garden soil and mostly potting mix. It's down underneath, so it's kind of mixed in there with it. I wanted to use what I had, and I have a big pile of garden soil. So I did use, like, I kind of mixed 3/4. So you can kind of see this is garden soil up top, and then down below is the, but I've done this in the past to kind of fill my pots. But this one needs a little bit more. But seems to work okay. Alright, I just had a few germinate of rosemary. Rosemary is kind of a tough one, but I'm just going to put it in one of the corners of the grow pots. And then I have some black devil pansy, which I think I'm going to put a little chunk in one of these corners. And then I think I'm going to have, I got a little spot over there by the pool. I'm going to dig and put the rest of the chunks, probably like 3 chunks. And I do reuse my jugs. So as I'm emptying them out, I'm just putting them over there. And you can see I already have, because I've already planted a bunch of jugs. So I've got a couple of bags full of jugs right there, and there's like a little, I don't know if you can see, I have a little hiding crawl space underneath my house right there. So I just, once I have all the bags filled, I'm gonna stick them in there till the next season. Some of these jugs are on their 3rd. This is their 3rd year being planted in. All right, so here in the pool, I just cleaned up all this area. I have to pick up the piles of stuff I just dug out of there and toss it over the hill, but this is where I decided to put my black devil pansies. Just put them in clumps right there. In this jug I have some Italian dandelion. I know that seems weird to plant dandelion, but I have a rabbit that absolutely loves to eat dandelions, so I'm actually going to plant these over beside the chicken coop. I have this little area right here that I don't have anything planted yet. A bunch of basils that need planted, some peppers, lots of things that need planted. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of these, so I'll just plant them right in a row. All right, my Italian dandelion is planted. There's actually 5, so I planted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, over by the swing set again, I've got some hollyhocks. These are Risa double hollyhocks. I want to save seeds for these, so I'm going to keep these all in the same spot, so I know what they are when I go to save seeds. And then I've also got this, I have no idea how these grow, but it took them a while to germinate, and they're still very small starts. Siberian iris. I'm gonna look this up real quick to see. I was thinking I would just put them in this area here, separate them out, and then mulch around them really nicely. Okay, so yeah, it looks like I could probably put these in a few different places, because it looks like they just get real like wide. So I think that's what I might do. I've got like, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4. I might try to split these into 5 clumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this single one plants somewhere else. This single one plants somewhere else, and then divide those into 3 I think, and plant right here. All right, we are getting through the jugs. So these are all the ones that I want to take down into the garden down there. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and take all this stuff down there, plant it up, and then I have 4 more. What is this? Hyssop? I don't know how this grows. Let's look that up. And in this last little patch of bare around the chicken coop, I'm going to plant, this is double carnival rosy red hollyhocks. Got kale, and I planted this as well. This was, said it was red shisho, but I'm not sure if that's what it is, but I'm just gonna plant in a row the hollyhocks here, and then this area will be all planted up. Hey girls, you interested in what I'm doing, aren't you? You pretty girl. Okay, so I'm down at the bottom in one of my lower rows here, and this is, I just took it in clumps, Allen's Pride Echinacea. So we're gonna plant it right here. We'll mulch around it really well. And Echinacea is, I have a quite old rabbit, a pet rabbit, and she is 11 years old now. And she has some urinary tract issues, and Echinacea is good for that. So I really wanted to grow a bunch more of Echinacea. I don't know if this is the kind. I'll have to look it up and make sure, but I know that the kind I have planted up in the front, which is the regular, you know, purple coneflower Echinacea, that those leaves are just fine for her to eat. And it helps, you know, keep her urinary tract. And, you know, there's other medicinal uses for Echinacea, so I'm just, you know, planting all the things, different varieties, and that's where this is going to go. And let me see, I have one more spot right here. I think I might plant this blackroot salsify, but let me look it up and see what it looks like. So, no. I'm actually going to take this up and put this in one of the grow pots, I think, because it says it grows really well in well-draining soil, and I'd like to see what it does in a grow pot. I'm going to put bee balm right here instead and bring in all the bees and pollinators. I think I got a couple of bee balms. So yeah, I'm going to just clump that and put that there. Okay, so I decided I needed bee balm in more than just this area, so I put 2 clumps here, walk down here, put a clump right there in between what I'm growing on here and the tomatoes. And then I also went down here and put some bee balm because I really want to get the pollinators in here. So I put a chunk right there, and then I put a chunk right here. This is where I've got cucumbers and some snapdragons. I believe those are snapdragons. Okay, so that needs to go up. This here is got lots of germination in it. It is screaming to get out of here. What is this? It is horseheel. So I think this and this. All right, I'm gonna take it over to this corner. So this other thing is not rutabaga, rhubarb. So I've got a couple of rhubarbs. You can see all the way at the end there. The other side of my garden, I planted 2 different kinds of rhubarbs. And this year they went to seed. I don't know if that's what they do their second year, or if it's because they're in a bad spot. So I'm planting this rhubarb in a different area that possibly is more shaded over in this corner here. Same thing with the horse heel. So I've got some hay bales that I had sat right here that I was using to cover this bed a couple years ago, which I'm now using wood chip mulch because it just does such a good job at holding moisture in and doesn't have that many seeds in it. But I've also got these buckets that I was using to plant up my hay bales. I've got a video on that coming if you're interested in trying to grow things in hay bales. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump these buckets out in this corner right here and plant the rhubarb right there, and then just plant the horse heel in that hay bale right there. Okay, so I just took some of this mushroom compost and just kind of clumped it in like a small hole in the hay bale, and then planted the horse heel, and then I planted 3 of the rhubarbs there. They're probably planted too close together. It'll be fine. I have 2 more I think I'm going to put up in a grow pot to see how it will grow in a grow pot. And I get to planting, and then I forget to record because this is what I'm recording. I'm recording me planting the jug. So I just started planting another jug. This one was the Carolina lupine. Yeah, Carolina lupine. So I just tore it into different chunks, planted a chunk here. I planted a chunk here in front of these beans that I'm gonna have to replant. Look, nothing. Something is munching on those. And then back here, 2 more clumps, one there and one there. So I think that's everything except for that black root salsify that I brought down. I have a few more jugs that I need to bring down, but let me take these up and I'll plant the rhubarb and the salsify in a grow pot. So scratch that. I decided to go ahead and plant it. I have grow pots down at the bottom of the hill all along the fence here. I'm gonna have tomatoes, peppers, whatever else. And then there's this pot right here that's kind of tore up. It's about 4 years old now, but it got ripped when I tried to move it at one point. So I'm done moving it, but I just went ahead and planted these right in here, and I'll probably have a couple pepper plants behind it there. Hopefully these won't cause the pepper plants any problems. Let me go get the last few jugs that are up at the top there. All right, so back up at the top again, just all over the place, planting stuff here and there and everywhere. So I'm going to plant in these last 2 corners here this rhubarb, and I'm going to heavily wood chip mulch these. Hopefully they'll do okay in here. I'm going to just do 1 in each of these ends here. Okay, they're planted. It's supposed to rain today, so I'm thinking all this stuff is going to get nicely watered in. Just a few more jugs there. Then I can move on to pepper planting. Oh, yeah. So 3 jugs. Let's take them down and see what we're going to do with them. What we got? What we got left? We got toothache plant, more bergamot, wild bergamot, and this is marshmallow. Okay, I think I know what I want to do with all these. Right. Clean this area up. I need to do some mowing. Okay, so I've got a little pile of dirt here. This is where I was going to plant a tomato because there's a T-post here, but I think I could still plant a tomato, so I'm just going to plant the wild bergamot along the perimeter here, and then I can still put a tomato right there if I want. Okay, so I just got a couple of clumps here, and then I had more, and I thought I'm going to put some up here as well. And so I've got a clump there, and then I put a clump right here. Let me get that mulched. All right. All right, the last 2 things I'm going to plant again over there in those hay bales. Okay, so I'm just going to do the same thing. Put some of that mushroom compost and then plant these in these hay bales. I got to get this cleaned up. Outside of the fence kind of gets crazy. Okay, so there I've got the toothache plant, and there I've got the marshmallow. Both have 3 little clumps, and then I also saved a clump of each of those to go up into the grow pots up front. All right, so there they are. The marshmallow and the toothache plants are in the grow pots up here. That's going to be it, guys. I have finished planting my jugs for this year. Hope y'all enjoyed. Now it's time to plant some peppers. So enjoy your day, everyone.